I'm Steve Geppi, and I'd like to welcome you to Geppi's Entertainment Museum. In 1974, I quit my job as a letter carrier at the U.S. Postal Service and opened a small comic book store in the basement of a TV repair shop. Little did I realize that from that humble beginning would grow this incredible pop culture collection you see here today. At the center of that collection is the comic character. The Brownies, Buster Brown, Mickey Mouse, the Lone Ranger, Superman, Barbie. These are just some of the characters who've made a tremendous impact on our individual childhoods while at the same time shaping our collective experience. As you wander through these halls, you will see the history of the country and our changing society reflected in those characters and the media through which they entertained us. Why are these characters so important to us? Perhaps it is their power to distract us. They've brought us relief in times of trouble, like the Great Depression and World War II. Today, they help us escape the pressure and stress of our ordinary, everyday lives.
We're here at Geppi's Entertainment Museum. I'm here with Andy Hirschberger.
Hi.
For those of you that had a Mr. Potato Head, and I did, when they used real potatoes.
Yep, back in 1952.
Back in 1952, which is telling a little bit on my age. But Andy, first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Secondly, you have a Mr. Potato Head there.
I have a great example of a 1968 Mr. Potato Head on the moon. Now, of course, we all know 1968, late 60s, that's when Neil Armstrong, whose birthday just occurred, by the way, went to the moon. And what better way to capitalize on the space age than to have Mr. Potato Head go into space with his little space helmet in his cucumber rocket ship. And just so we stay in the real world, meet Mr. Evil Alien Green Pepper, who dies immediately. For children.
So this is one version of Mr. Potato Head. Did the company kind of follow the culture, whatever was happening? They would perhaps come out with a different Mr. Potato Head to reflect that?
In the 60s, a lot of toy manufacturers were a little bit more daring with what they do. They would expand their product's horizon. For example, Mattel's Barbie had 3 different kinds of hair, whereas like growing up in the 70s, they were more streamlined. She only had blonde hair for the most part. Mr. Potato Head only had a basic set of eyes, didn't really do a lot of adventures. But in the 60s, he did. He was a space traveler who fought alien beings on a planet. And if you didn't want him to go to another planet, we also had just a general potato and some eyes. So you can make him Mr. Potato Head at the office. Here we would have
Potato Head at the office. Now that sounds exciting.
That actually is probably the most satisfying of all the Mr. Potato Heads, because that has.
And why is that, Andy?
Because Mr. Potato Head at the office just has a regular day, goes home to his wife and kids, lives a good life, Eventually, one of his eyes is cut out and planted in the ground, and he becomes a new Mr. Potato or a little Mrs. Potato Head. And, whoops, there he goes. Well, see, he's happy. Oh, new Mr. Potato Head grows from that eye, and it's a space potato head.
Now, during the 60s, did they ever have a hippie Mr. Potato Head? Or?
They had a Mr. Potato Head that you could cut the front out of, and then, actually, I'm kidding. I don't think they had a hippie Mr. Potato Head. I believe Hasbro has always tried to stay on the straight path.
Mainstream.
Mainstream. You know, it's better to stay on the straight path and not offend when it comes to children's products.
Now, wasn't there a Mrs. Potato Head as well?
There was, but there was a big fight, and now there no longer is a Mrs. Potato Head. It's now a Ms. Potato Head.
Ms. Potato Head.
And she works in the fashion industry.
She works in the fashion industry. All right.
No, there's.
Did they have any family members? Any little tater tot children or anything?
They've probably had kids from time to time, little spuds, but I don't know what's going on right now with Mr. Potato Head, because Mr. Potato Head, as we sell him in the museum, is in our store, Geppi's Comic World, is actually a member of the rock band Kiss. So Mr. Potato Head is a transformative toy again. He can go all sorts of different directions. There's been Star Wars Mr. Potato Heads recently. Of course, when I said there wasn't much variety, it was for in the 70s and the 80s. But today's Mr. Potato Head is returned back to his more exploration, more different lifestyle roots, where he would go on different paths and, like Barbie, be a spaceman, or like, or spacewoman, or today become a rock star in Kids in Satan's Service, which I'm kidding. It's not really what it's like.
Well, Andy, for those of our viewers that are old enough to know the band Kiss, they know, of course, that they have this very dark makeup and white on their face and so on. Does Mr. Potato Head don that kind of makeup, or is he still kind of Mr. Potato Head brown?
Oh, no, he dons that makeup. I was actually hoping that we'd have the David Bowie Aladdin Sane Mr. Potato Head, but that hasn't come out yet. But maybe if they give Mr. Bowie a couple of dollars, he'll license that character off to them. Ziggy Stardust and the Potatoes from Mars, that would be nice.
So they, after sort of being creative in the 60s and then nothing in the 70s, they've kind of blossomed now with...
Yeah, I think they have. I think toy manufacturing has become, it's easier to make molds. It's easier to put variety onto a toy. Back then, seems very primitive, but is very complicated. You know, this is not like the Mr. Potato Heads that are even as far back as the 70s. This is not a very durable toy. It's a soft plastic toy. It's made with a relatively lightweight plastic, but it can crumple easy, whereas more Mr. Potato Heads in the 70s were more of a solid base. And of course, this also has a cucumber as a friend, or a rocket ship, and the green pepper monster.
Green pepper monster. Now, the current crop, for lack of a better term, of potato heads, the musical ones, do they play any music, or do they have to use your imagination if you're playing with Mr. Potato Head? Is it air guitar? Does he play air guitar?
He could if you made him, but I don't think any of them come with like any musical accessories. You know, it's not like a lot of toys nowadays where you push a button and it'll play a song. Mr. Potato Head with Kiss just looks like one of the members of the band.
Well, Andy, with all the comic likeness and possibilities here, did Mr. Potato Head ever appear on television or in movies or anything?
Actually, Mr. Potato Head has become quite a hit because Hasbro had the foresight to say to Pixar when they made Toy Story, sure, you could have a Mr. Potato Head, and Don Rickles took over the character, and sales has been skyrocketing ever since. Which is a reason why a toy that seems like relatively minor, just a shape that you can change the face of, has suddenly become another phenomenon. And it has like a secondary aspect where kids will do their best Don Rickles impersonations, whereas Mr. Potato Head used to be friendly, now he'll say stuff like, so what are you supposed to be, you green peppered piece of garbage? Because he's Don Rickles now. And his wife comes in, is equally sassy. Ow, yeah, you just... Anyways, I don't want to go into it, because this is not what his wife looks like.
That's a pretty good imitation. I think we should continue to have him do that, but right after the break. We're going to take a break. Please stay with us. I'm here with my new best friend, Mr. Potato Head. Come on with me on the safari at Discovery. we've got a lot of things to see. Hey, I see a cave. Let's go check it out. Wow, I just went through the cave at Port Discovery Children's Museum. This is called Tattoglyphs. I'm not sure what happened, but just find and decode the secret glyphs message. So we're trying our best here. This says harp, that's that lion. Meanwhile, we've got Mr. Potato Head. Looks like Mr. Vegetable Head, though. He's watching over the whole thing. Okay, we're still here with Mr. Potato Head. Here's my favorite right here, pink bunny slippers. I have a pair just like this at home. Got the big ears. What else do we have here? We have a clock and some paste. These look like some poles on a scale. So if you put these over here, eventually that scale's going to go down the other side. I'm not really sure what this is.
For example, Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing, and we just can't find the sound. That's Peter Criss. These are the Kiss, Mr. Potato Heads. You have Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and of course, Peter Criss, the author of Beth, the highest ranking American single for the rock band Kiss. And this is the Kiss Army of potato heads. So if ever you were trying to tell your mom that you don't like potatoes or you don't want to eat French fries, you can always just say, I'm a member of the Kiss Army and I can't eat my favorite band. I can only listen to them. Of course, a potato lying on a table doesn't make much of a sound. Maybe you threw it against something, it would sound better. Anyway, so Mr. Potato Head is still around, still popular. Well, that's it for today from Cool Kids Collectibles. Make sure we were filmed at Geppi's Comic World in Geppi's Entertainment Museum. These items are on display at Geppi's Entertainment Museum, so come on down, have a look, see vintage, see contemporary. We have the entire spectrum of the toy universe. Welcome back. We're here with Zach. Zach, this is your part of the Geppi's Entertainment Museum empire. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well,
what are you doing?
I'm the sales store, the sales manager here at Geppi's Comic World. We've started to go ahead and kind of go back to the founder's roots. Before it was flashbacks and it was more like your classic museum gift shop. We've decided to go ahead and change the name back to Geppi's Comic World and go back to what Steve did before everything when he was the comic store owner.
So what kind of changes are you making in the store to reflect this then?
Bringing more books back in.
Okay.
Comic books has been something that when I came in here there was not a lot of, and with having the comic book collection we have with Action #1, Detective #27, Tales of Suspense 39, First Appearance of Iron Man, these seminal books in the comic history, we didn't have a lot to reflect our love and Steve's love of comics. So the first thing we've done is we've started getting more trades, which are collections of stories, and we've got those in the store so that you can come in and pick up anything from any point in time and start getting good stories. Starting in September, we're going to be carrying a limited number of actual issues, which are the weekly comic issues from Detective Comics, Action Comics, Batman, as well as some of the other series that are going on as well, such as Spider-Man.
Now, these are reproductions of older comics?
No,
or these are current stories?
Current stories, brand new issues. We are going to be on par with anything you'll find on your newsstands or your local comic store. Just a smaller selection, because we still want you to go to your local store to look for the stuff that's a little more out there, and also the independent stuff as well. You can go ahead and buy new comic books here. Starting in September, we're going to start carrying weekly issues.
So these are current stories
Yes.
that are just being written and given to the public for the first time.
Yes, these are current creators on current books with current numbering and current artists. This is not reprints. We are going with new books every Wednesday.
Are there any titles that you can share with us? Or?
A couple we're going to be carrying, obviously Batman and Detective Comics, as well as Action Comics. We're going to be carrying Spider-Man, as well as a few surprises.
Zach, you've got a lot of great characters here in the museum. One thing that I had as a kid that I just loved was Mr. Potato Head. I know you've got some Potato Head stuff here.
We have plenty. We have plenty of Mr. Potato Head stuff here, and we can always get more. My favorite Potato Head stuff that we have are obviously the Kiss Potato Heads, because you don't see those that often, and it's very
Kiss
different.
Potato Head?
Kiss Potato Heads.
Oh my goodness, viewers, Kiss Potato Heads.
In fact, earlier I was sitting here and I heard one of them start singing Beth, and it was a very frightening experience.
Yes. And they're wearing the Kiss makeup,
exactly.
right?
Complete Kiss makeup and all the different Kiss characters that they do have. I know that I'm not that big a Kiss fan, so I can't hear exactly what they're supposed to be. I think one is Star Child.
Star Child, all right.
And we do have, obviously, the Gene Simmons and the different variations as well. The other Mr. Potato Head that I feel everyone needs to come down here and buy is that we have over there a Toy Story Mr. Potato Head, not the one from the movie, but an actual Buzz Lightyear
type of potato head.
Yes, Mr. Potato Head.
So Mr. Potato Head, even though he's decades old, is really pretty current.
Yeah, he is, and again, it has a lot to do with the Toy Story movies. The best decision that the owner of the company made with that property is when Toy Story was coming around. They said, we want to use your property. He's like, go ahead and put him on everything, whatever you want to do with him.
Right, right. And I understand in the movie it was Don Rickles doing the voice of Mr. Potato Head.
Don Rickles was the perfect Mr. Warmth himself.
Yes, yes.
He was the perfect Mr. Potato Head, the right set of curmudgeon old man and the right set of modern humor.
So there's animation, there's the actual dolls themselves. Now, there was never a Mr. Potato Head strip, was there?
Not that I'm aware of, no. They never went that far with him. I wish they would have, because you just imagine a spy Mr. Potato Head ripping those eyes out and putting on binoculars.
Well, if anyone out there has a Mr. Potato Head comic strip up in your attic, bring it in, because it could be worth a lot of money. But anyway, Zach, I want to thank you for this segment here. Your shop looks just great. There's a lot of interesting things here. Geppi's Entertainment Museum itself has a lot of great things, but this store is really looking pretty good.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is a passion for me. The one thing I've always wanted to do, and I've mentioned it before on the shows, I wanted to be in comics. I wanted to be in a store, and I've wanted to get that experience. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to go ahead and use this store as a way to go ahead and share with everyone what I've been able to enjoy and what I've been able to get in the different stores I've been at. So if you want, come down, see our experience. We're back. Everything is going the way it's supposed to, and I guarantee you'll have an awesome time.
Talk about lucky being able to indulge in one's passion. We're going to need to take a break. We have a lot more coming up, so please stay with us. things to purchase here. And you want a unique gift, Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthday for a relative, Christmas, Hanukkah, who knows what. Some really unique things down here. Plus, the museum itself is just great.
It is, and we are trying to get more and more unique things in the museum. I can definitely say if you want to see something awesome, stop by around November, December when we have Christmas going on. We'll have some very, very nice things for display as well as for sale to anyone willing to go ahead looking for that.
Now, I know you're making a lot of changes. Are you doing layaways yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm working on it.
How about credit cards, though?
Oh, we take every type of credit card known to man.
Lots of credit cards, all right. So a unique gift, something out of the ordinary, right here at Geppi's, and Zach has it for you.
There's more to it than that. These characters have played a large and largely unrecognized role in our education. Batman comic books helped me to learn to read when I was 5 years old. Thanks, big guy. That experience fostered a lifelong love of reading. I had dreamed of creating this museum for almost 30 years, but where to build it? When I toured Camden Station for the first time in 2003, I realized I had finally found the home these characters so richly deserved. Abraham Lincoln passed through this building 4 times. When Babe Ruth left his boyhood home of Baltimore to play for the Boston Red Sox, he took a train from this very station. Today, the first floor houses Sports Legends at Camden Yards, a museum which chronicles the history of Maryland sports. If there is a more appropriate place to display the history of pop culture in America, I can't think of it. I've been called Baltimore's biggest cheerleader. Guilty as charged. Heck, I even bought the City magazine. I was born and raised in Little Italy, an ethnic neighborhood just across the Inner Harbor from here. I love this city and all of its spectacular attractions. From the National Aquarium and the Science Center, to the Walters Art Gallery and Museum of African American History and Culture, to the restaurants of Fells Point and Little Italy, Baltimore has something for everyone. I urge you to visit all of those places and experience everything this magnificent city has to offer. But first, I'd like you to take a trip with me in my time machine to discover or revisit all the wonderful characters, friends I call them, that have shaped our popular culture. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I had that when I was a kid. I do it all the time.